There is an ancient diet, written down in the most famous book the world has ever known, that kept entire civilizations strong for thousands of years, and almost every single food in it is still sitting on your supermarket shelf right now for a couple of dollars. If you feel run down, foggy, or quietly worn out by modern food, and you have ever wondered how people stayed strong long before vitamins and supplements existed, this is for you. The people of Scripture lived on simple, whole foods, and many of them turn out to be among the most nutrient-dense things you can eat. And this is not just Scripture or sentiment. Modern researchers studying these exact foods keep arriving at the same place, that this ancient way of eating looks remarkably like the Mediterranean diet, now celebrated as one of the healthiest on earth. So here is what you are getting: 20 foods named in the Bible, and for each one, where it appears, what it does inside your body, the easiest way to eat it, and how to find or grow it cheaply, because nearly all of these cost very little and most are already in your kitchen. This is history and general information, not medical advice, so anything serious you take to your doctor. So stay for number 16, the sweet fruit many scholars believe was the real honey in the promised land of milk and honey, and nature's original energy bar. Stay for number 18, the simple food that fed 5,000 people from a boy's small basket, and that carries the omega-3 fats studied for the aging heart and brain. And number 20 is the one food on this entire list that never truly spoils, found still edible in tombs sealed for over 3,000 years. If ancient wisdom meeting honest modern science is your kind of thing, subscribe to Healing Garden, one careful, well-researched video a week. And if even 3 of these earn a place at your table, tap like, so more people rediscover the foods that nourished the ancient world. Number 1. Wheat, the bread of life. No food is more central to Scripture than wheat, ground into the daily bread we are taught to pray for. Jesus called himself the bread of life. Fields of wheat and tares filled his parables, and for thousands of years a loaf of wheat bread was quite literally the staff of life that held entire civilizations upright. If modern white bread leaves you bloated, spiking, and crashing an hour later, the problem is not bread itself, but what we have done to it. Whole wheat with its bran and germ left intact is a completely different food from the pale, airy, stripped-down loaf, and it nourishes an aging body in a way that fluffy white bread simply cannot. Whole wheat keeps the fiber, B vitamins, selenium, and plant lignins that refining strips away, and large studies link whole grains with a lower risk of heart disease, steadier blood sugar, and a longer life. Ancient forms like einkorn and emmer, the very wheats of the biblical world, are simpler in structure, and many people who feel heavy after modern bread find these older grains and slow sourdough far gentler to digest. Choose wholemeal or stone-ground bread over white, or seek out ancient einkorn and spelt flour and real sourdough, which ferments the grain into something gentler still. Whole wheat costs no more than white and keeps for a year as flour or grain. Next is the golden fruit of Solomon's song. Number 2, apricots, the golden tappuach. When the Song of Solomon sighs, "Comfort me with apples," the Hebrew word is tappuach, and many scholars believe the true fruit was not the apple, which struggles in that hot climate, but the golden apricot. Sweet, fragrant, and sun-loving, it flourished across the ancient Near East and was treasured fresh in summer and dried for the long, lean months. If your skin has grown drier or duller and your eyes tire more easily with the years, apricots are gentle, delicious help. Their deep golden color is the visible sign of what they carry, the same kind of pigments your body uses to renew and protect skin and sight, which makes this soft, sweet fruit far more than a simple treat. Apricots are rich in beta-carotene, which your body turns into skin and eye protecting vitamin A, along with fiber and potassium for the gut and the heart. Dried apricots concentrate that goodness, becoming a strong source of iron and potassium, and research links carotenoid-rich fruits like these with healthier skin and better protected eyesight as we age, all wrapped in a naturally sweet and satisfying package. Enjoy fresh apricots in summer when they are at their sweetest, or keep dried ones year-round to chop into porridge, yogurt, and tagines, choosing the dull orange unsulfured kind over the bright treated ones. They are affordable dried and store for months. Next is the cultured food at the very heart of the Promised Land. Number 3, curds and yogurt, the milk and honey. The Promised Land itself was described as flowing with milk and honey, and when 3 visitors came to Abraham, he set before them curds and milk, the cultured soured dairy the ancients called Laban. Long before refrigeration, soured and fermented milk was how the people of Scripture kept this precious food, and it nourished them daily. If your digestion has grown unsettled, your bones feel less sturdy, or rich foods sit heavily, cultured dairy is one of the gentlest, most ancient answers there is. The fermenting that soured this milk also makes it far easier to digest than fresh milk, which is why so many older stomachs that struggle with a glass of milk handle a bowl of live yogurt with ease. Live yogurt and kefir carry beneficial probiotic bacteria that research links with a healthier gut, and a calm, well-fed gut after 50 is what helps you absorb the very nutrients you work to eat. They also deliver easily absorbed calcium, protein, and vitamin K2 for aging bones and muscles, and the fermentation breaks down much of the milk sugar, so even many lactose-sensitive people tolerate them well. Choose plain, live, or active culture yogurt, or kefir, with no added sugar, and sweeten it yourself with fruit, nuts, or a little honey. A pot is inexpensive, and you can even culture your own at home for pennies. Next is the simple stew food that a birthright was once traded for. Number 4, lentils, the birthright stew. In one of the most famous trades in all of Scripture, Esau sold his entire birthright to his brother Jacob for a single bowl of red lentil stew, a vivid reminder of how prized and satisfying this humble food was. Lentils have fed people cheaply and well for many thousands of years. If meat sits heavy, chewing has become a chore, or you simply want more strength from your meals without more cost, lentils quietly answer all 3. They are one of the best plant sources of protein on Earth, which matters more as we age, since holding on to muscle is one of the real keys to staying strong, steady, and independent. A single cooked cup gives around 18 grams of protein along with iron, folate, and a generous wall of fiber, and large studies of people who eat legumes daily link them with healthier hearts, steadier blood sugar, and longer life. The iron matters especially since so much of the tiredness we blame on age is quietly low iron. Eaten across a week alongside grains like barley or rice, lentils supply every amino acid your body needs to rebuild muscle, which is exactly why this cheap, simple pairing kept whole populations strong for thousands of years without a scrap of meat. Simmer a cup of red or green lentils in 3 cups of water for about 20 minutes, no soaking needed, and they melt into soups, stews, and curries. A bag costs almost nothing and keeps for a year. Next is the nut that flowered overnight as a sign from heaven. Number 5, almonds, the awakening nut. The almond is the very first tree to blossom each spring in the Holy Land, and in Scripture it became a sign of God's watchful care. When Aaron's wooden staff miraculously budded, blossomed, and bore ripe almonds overnight, it marked him as chosen, and the gold lampstand of the temple was shaped like almond flowers. If you want a protein-rich snack that needs no fridge and no preparation, almonds travel with you anywhere. A small handful steadies hunger between meals while feeding your body in a way crisps and biscuits never could, which matters greatly as we age, and every snack becomes a small chance to nourish rather than simply fill. Almonds are unusually rich in vitamin E, an antioxidant that helps shield your cells from the slow wear of the years, and in magnesium, tied to muscle, nerve, sleep, and bone health, which many older adults quietly fall short on. Large reviews following nut eaters over time link a daily handful with longer lives, healthier hearts, and steadier blood sugar. The healthy fat and protein in almonds also slow the release of sugar from a meal, helping steady that mid-afternoon energy dip. And because they keep without cooking or cooling, they remain one of the most convenient, nourishing snacks ever carried by a traveler. Eat them raw or lightly toasted, scatter slivers over porridge and salads, or reach for almond butter if chewing tires you, since it carries the same goodness in a smoother form. Soaking them overnight softens them and aids digestion. Store them cool and dark. Next is the humble pod the prodigal son once longed to eat. Number 6. Carob, the prodigal's pod. When the prodigal son hit rock bottom, Scripture says he longed to fill his belly with the husks the pigs were eating, and those husks were carob pods, the sweet leathery fruit of the carob tree. So dependable in hard times that it was the food of the desperate and the poor. Carob has fed people and animals across the Holy Land for thousands of years. If you love chocolate but find that caffeine leaves you jittery or wakeful, carob is the ancient, gentle answer you have never tried. It is naturally sweet and tastes remarkably like cocoa, yet it contains no caffeine at all, so you can enjoy that rich, comforting, chocolatey flavor in the evening without it stealing your sleep or unsettling your heart. Carob is naturally sweet and caffeine-free, and it is rich in fiber, calcium, and polyphenol antioxidants, while containing none of the compounds in chocolate that can trouble a sensitive system. Traditionally, the tannins in carob were used to settle an upset stomach, and modern research has looked at carob fiber for supporting healthy cholesterol, making this humble survival food a genuinely worthwhile, gentle treat. Use carob powder spoon for spoon in place of cocoa in baking, warm drinks, and smoothies, or chew the whole dried pods as the ancients did. It is caffeine-free, naturally sweet enough to need little added sugar, and found cheaply in health food shops. Next is the cooling food the Israelites wept for in the desert. Number 7. Cucumber, the cooling food. When the Israelites wandered the harsh desert, they wept with longing for the foods of Egypt, and among the very first they named were the cool, refreshing cucumbers they had left behind. In a hot, dry land, this humble, watery vegetable was treasured as a source of comfort and relief. If you do not drink enough water through the day, which becomes more common and more risky as we age, and our sense of thirst quietly fades, cucumber is hydration you can eat. It is around 95% water, gentle on the stomach and the kidneys, and a wonderfully easy, low-effort way to top up fluids without thinking about it. Beyond water, cucumber carries silica, a mineral that supports skin, hair, and connective tissue, along with vitamin K, potassium, and gentle antioxidants concentrated in the skin. Being so low in calories yet satisfyingly crunchy, it is a genuinely useful food for anyone minding their weight, and staying well hydrated supports everything from clear thinking to healthy joints. The skin in particular holds most of the fiber and antioxidants, so leaving it on rather than peeling it gives you considerably more goodness, and a few slices dropped into a jug of water make a refreshing, gently mineral-rich drink for a hot afternoon. Eat it raw with the skin on for the most nutrients, sliced into salads, dipped into hummus, or added to a jug of water with mint for a refreshing drink. It is cheap, especially in summer, and grows quickly up a trellis in a warm spot. Next is the everyday bulb that science now deeply respects. Number 8. Onions and leeks, the tearful bulbs. Alongside the cucumbers, the Israelites in the desert also wept for the onions, leeks, and garlic of Egypt, the humble bulbs that flavored nearly every pot in the ancient world. Cheap, Storable and endlessly useful, they were the quiet foundation of ordinary cooking for thousands of years. If your heart and your gut are on your mind, this everyday pair is doing you far more good than the tears they cause might suggest. Onions and leeks are rich in the kind of fiber your friendly gut bacteria feed on, and a healthy gut after 50 is what helps you absorb the very nutrients you work so hard to eat. Onions are one of the richest sources of quercetin, an antioxidant studied for supporting healthy blood pressure and calming inflammation, and both onions and leeks are loaded with prebiotic fibers that feed a healthy gut. Research links diets rich in these allium vegetables with better heart health and a lower burden of the inflammation that drives much of aging. Cooking onions slowly draws out a deep natural sweetness, but eating at least some of them raw, finely sliced into salads, preserves the most quercetin. So using them both ways across the week gives your heart and your gut the fullest possible benefit. Use them as the base of almost any savory meal, soups, stews, roasts, and sauces, where they melt down into deep, sweet flavor. Eating some raw in salads keeps the most quercetin. They are among the cheapest foods there are and store for weeks. Next is the protein-packed bean that fed King David's army. Number 9. Fava beans, the soldier's strength. When King David and his weary men fled into the wilderness, the supplies brought to sustain them included beans and lentils, the broad fava bean being a staple protein of the ancient Near East. It is one of the oldest cultivated crops on Earth, sustaining farmers and soldiers alike for millennia. If you want to keep your strength and steadiness as the years pass, fava beans are a hearty, protein-rich food that helps hold on to the muscle aging slowly erodes. They are filling and satisfying, and they deliver that strength for pennies, which makes them one of the most economical ways to put good protein on an older person's plate. Fava beans deliver protein, folate, fiber, and iron, and they are a natural source of L-dopa, a compound the body uses to make dopamine, which is why early research has even looked at them for movement and mood. One honest caution: a small number of people of Mediterranean descent carry a condition called favism and must avoid fava beans entirely, so check if it runs in your family. For everyone else, though, fava beans are a remarkably complete and economical food, delivering protein, fiber, and folate all together, and the folate in particular supports the heart and the aging brain in ways that modern research continues to confirm. Fresh young beans are lovely, simply boiled and dressed with olive oil and lemon, while dried ones cook into hearty stews and the falafel of the Middle East. Tinned beans are the effortless option, and dried ones cost very little. Next is one of the ancient grains in the famous bread of Ezekiel. Number 10. Spelt, the ancient wheat. In the book of Ezekiel, God gives a recipe for a survival bread made from wheat, barley, beans, lentils, millet, and spelt, a loaf so complete it could sustain a person through famine. Spelt is one of the most ancient forms of wheat, grown for thousands of years before modern varieties existed. If modern bread leaves you bloated or sluggish, yet you do not want to give up the comfort of a good loaf, spelt is well worth trying. Many people who struggle with today's heavily processed wheat find this older, simpler grain sits far more comfortably, and it brings far more nutrition than the pale, airy white bread it can replace. Spelt is higher in protein than common modern wheat and rich in fiber, magnesium, iron, and zinc, the minerals an aging body leans on for strong bones, steady energy, and a healthy heart. As a whole grain, it digests more slowly and gently than refined flour, which research links with steadier blood sugar and better long-term heart health. Spelt also tends to be easier to digest than modern bred wheat, partly because it has been bred and altered far less over the centuries. So many people who feel heavy or bloated after ordinary bread find this older grain a genuine relief. Look for whole spelt bread, flour, or the whole grains, which cook like rice into a nutty base for salads and soups. It is pricier than ordinary flour and found in health food shops, but a little brings real nourishment. Next is the tiny golden grain in that same ancient survival bread. Number 11. Millet, the survival grain. Millet is the other humble grain named in Ezekiel's famine bread, a tiny golden seed that has quietly fed more of humanity through hard times than almost any other crop. Tough, drought-resistant, and dependable, it thrived where finer grains failed, which is exactly why it earned its place in a bread built for survival. If your digestion is sensitive, or you simply want a gentle change from the same old wheat and rice, millet is a soft, soothing, naturally gluten-free grain that suits an older gut beautifully. It cooks into a comforting porridge or a fluffy side, mild and easy to eat even on a delicate day when richer foods feel like too much. Despite its tiny size, millet is rich in magnesium, which supports the heart, muscles, and sleep, along with B vitamins for energy and antioxidants that early research links with steadier blood sugar. Being naturally gluten-free and alkaline-forming, it is gentle on digestion, making it a quietly valuable grain for anyone whose stomach has grown more easily upset with age. It is also one of the few grains that is alkaline rather than acid-forming, and it carries antioxidants and slow-release energy that help steady both blood sugar and mood, which is part of why it sustained so many people through long seasons of scarcity. Simmer 1 part millet to 3 parts liquid for about 20 minutes for a creamy porridge, or use less water for a fluffy rice-like side. Toasting the dry grains first deepens the flavor beautifully. It is inexpensive and found in health food aisles. Next is the nut a father sent as a treasured gift to Egypt. Number 12. Pistachios, the gift of Jacob. When the patriarch Jacob sent his sons to Egypt to plead for grain during a famine, he told them to carry the finest treasures of the land as a gift, and among them were pistachios, prized as one of the choicest foods the Holy Land could offer. They were a luxury worth presenting to a ruler. If you tend to graze mindlessly through a whole bowl of snacks, pistachios have a clever built-in break, because shelling each one slows you right down. That gentle, fiddly pace suits a quiet afternoon and naturally keeps the portion sensible, which makes them a rare snack that nourishes you while quietly helping you not to overeat. Pistachios are one of the few nuts that count as a complete protein, and their green and violet hues come from lutein and zeaxanthin, the same protective pigments that gather in the eye, which is why research links them with guarding eyesight and the aging brain. Studies on regular nut eaters also tie them to healthier cholesterol and blood pressure. They are genuinely rich in fiber and potassium for the heart as well, and being a complete protein, a handful does real work in holding on to muscle as we age, all wrapped in a shell that slows you down and keeps the portion sensible. Buy them in the shell to slow your pace and make a handful last, or shelled to scatter over yogurt, salads, and roasted vegetables for color and crunch. A modest daily handful is all you need, and they keep for months sealed somewhere cool. Next is the nut hidden in an ancient garden of love. Number 13. Walnuts, the garden nut. In the Song of Solomon, the beloved goes down to the garden of nuts to see the fruits of the valley, and that garden was a walnut grove, a tree prized across the ancient world for its rich, oily kernels. There is even an old saying that the walnut resembles the very brain it nourishes. If keeping your mind sharp is the thing you care about most as the years go on, a small daily handful of walnuts is one of the simplest steps there is. They need no preparation, travel anywhere, and quietly supply the brain with the building blocks and antioxidants it leans on to stay quick, clear, and steady. Walnuts are the one common nut especially rich in alpha-linolenic acid, a plant omega-3 fat studied for both the heart and the brain, along with polyphenol antioxidants. Research following nut eaters links a regular handful with healthier hearts, lower inflammation, and, in some studies, better memory and thinking in later life, a remarkable return for such a small snack. Those delicate omega-3 fats are the same family most studied for protecting the aging brain, calming inflammation, and steadying the heart. And because the body cannot make them itself, a regular handful of walnuts is one of the simplest plant ways to top them up. Eat a small handful most days, raw or lightly toasted, or chop them over salads, porridge, and yogurt. Keep them somewhere cool and dark so their delicate fats stay fresh and never turn bitter. They are pricier than peanuts, but a little goes a long way. Next is the tiny pickled bud hidden in a verse about growing old. Number 14. Capers, the caperberry. In one of the most poetic passages in Scripture, Ecclesiastes pictures the frailty of old age and says, "The caperberry, the desire, shall fail, for in the ancient world the caper was prized as a tonic that kindled appetite and vigor." These are the tiny pickled buds and berries of a hardy shrub that grows straight out of bare desert rock and crumbling walls. If your appetite has faded, your meals feel bland, or you are trying to cut back on salt without losing all the flavor, capers are a tiny forgotten secret. A small spoonful adds a bright, savory, almost lemony burst that lifts a whole dish, tempting a tired appetite to eat, and they pack remarkable nourishment into a portion almost too small to count. For their size, capers are one of the most concentrated food sources of quercetin and rutin, antioxidant flavonoids studied for supporting healthy blood pressure and calming inflammation. The ancients valued the caper as a tonic for the appetite and the body, and that old reputation rests on real plant compounds. So these tiny buds genuinely do far more good than their humble place on the side of the plate suggests. Stir the brined buds into salads, sauces, fish, and dressings, rinsing them first if you are watching the salt, since a little goes a very long way. A jar lasts for months in the fridge, and the hardy bush will grow from a sunny crack in a wall. Next is the cooling melon the desert wanderers longed for. Number 15. Melon, the desert longing. Among the foods of Egypt, the Israelites wept for in the wilderness were the melons, sweet and full of water, a precious relief in a parched and burning land. Both the watermelon and the muskmelon were cultivated across the ancient Near East, treasured wherever the sun was harsh and water was scarce. If you find it hard to drink enough through the day, melon is one of the most delicious ways there is to stay hydrated, which becomes genuinely important as we age and our thirst signals quietly weaken. Sweet, soft, and easy to eat, it is gentle on a tender mouth and a delicate stomach, and feels like a treat rather than a chore. Melon is mostly water, making it wonderfully hydrating. And watermelon in particular is rich in lycopene, the same red antioxidant studied for skin and heart health that gives tomatoes their value. Muskmelon and cantaloupe are loaded with beta-carotene for the skin and eyes. So, this watery fruit quietly delivers real protective compounds alongside its refreshment. Both kinds are low in calories yet filling and sweet, which makes melon a genuinely smart choice for anyone minding their weight, and its high water content gently supports the kidneys and helps the body cool and refresh itself in the heat of summer. Enjoy it well chilled on its own, in fruit salads, or blended into a cooling drink, and a sprinkle of mint lifts it beautifully. It is best and cheapest in high summer when it is sweetest. Melons need warmth and space to grow, but reward a sunny garden generously. Next is the sweet fruit I promised you, the true honey of the land. Number 16. Dates, the honey of the land. Here is something that surprises people. Many scholars believe the honey in the famous Promised Land flowing with milk and honey was not bee honey at all, but the thick, sweet syrup of the date palm. Dates sustained desert travelers for centuries, and the palm itself was a symbol of victory and flourishing life. If your energy crashes in the afternoon, or you crave something sweet but want it to actually nourish you, dates are nature's original energy bar. They deliver quick, natural sweetness wrapped in fiber and minerals rather than empty sugar, making them a far kinder lift than a biscuit, and a couple are genuinely satisfying when that craving strikes. Despite their sweetness, dates are rich in fiber and potassium, and their fiber helps slow the sugar's release, so research suggests they raise blood sugar more gently than their taste implies, though they are concentrated. So, a few go a long way. They also bring antioxidants, magnesium, and the kind of natural energy that fueled long desert journeys. Just 2 or 3 dates make a satisfying, mineral-rich sweet, and because their fiber blunts the sugar spike, they are a far kinder treat than refined sweets, which is exactly why caravans and pilgrims relied on them to cross vast deserts for centuries. Eat a couple on their own, stuff them with a nut or a little cheese, or blend them to sweeten porridge, smoothies, and baking naturally, replacing refined sugar. They keep for many months and are widely affordable. Next is the bitter green of the Passover table that almost everyone has forgotten. Number 17. Bitter greens, the Passover herbs. At the very first Passover, God commanded the people to eat their lamb with bitter herbs, leaves like endive, chicory, and dandelion, a tradition kept to this day. In the ancient world, these bitter greens were valued not just as food, but as a tonic. And modern science is rediscovering why. If heavy, rich modern food leaves you sluggish, these forgotten bitter leaves are exactly what your body has been missing. That very bitterness, which we have bred out of so many modern vegetables, is the active part, gently stimulating digestion and supporting the liver, the hard-working organ that quietly handles so much as we age. Bitter greens are rich in prebiotic fiber that feeds a healthy gut, in folate and vitamin K, and in compounds traditionally used to support healthy digestion and liver function rather than to purge or cleanse in any dramatic sense. Early research links the natural bitter compounds in these greens with better digestion and a gentle, supportive effect on the gut and liver. That very bitterness signals the plant compounds your body responds to, gently encouraging the digestive juices that help you break down a heavy meal, while the prebiotic fiber feeds the friendly gut bacteria that become so important for good health after 50. Eat them young and small in salads where they are mildest, or sauté the larger leaves with garlic and olive oil, which mellows their bite beautifully. Dandelion greens grow freely in clean gardens for nothing at all. Next is the simple food that fed 5,000 from a boy's small basket. Number 18. Fish, the loaves and fishes. Few foods are more woven through the Gospels than fish. Jesus called fishermen to follow him, fed 5,000 people from a boy's small basket of loaves and fishes, and ate broiled fish himself after he rose, and the fish became one of the earliest secret symbols of the faith. The Sea of Galilee fed the whole story. If protecting your heart, your memory, and your aging brain is what weighs on you most, oily fish is one of the single most powerful foods you can eat. The ancients ate it simply because it was there and it sustained them. But modern science has found that the fat inside these humble fish is some of the most protective nourishment on Earth for a body growing older. Oily fish, like sardines, mackerel, and salmon, are the richest source of the long-chain omega-3 fats studied for the heart, the brain, and the joints, along with protein, vitamin D, and B12. Research links eating fish once or twice a week with a lower risk of heart disease and better protected memory in later life, and the small, cheap, low-mercury fish like sardines are among the very best of all. Aim for oily fish once or twice a week, and do not overlook tinned sardines and mackerel, which are cheap, keep for years, and need no cooking at all. Grill, bake, or simply tip them onto toast. Next is the simple everyday food Jesus used to picture a good and loving gift. Number 19. Eggs, the simple gift. Jesus used the egg as the very picture of a good gift from a loving parent, asking what father, if his son asks for an egg, would hand him a scorpion instead. The egg was a humble, everyday food of the biblical world, and it remains one of the most complete and affordable parcels of nourishment ever laid on a table. If you struggle to eat enough protein, find meat hard to chew, or want to protect your eyes and your memory, the humble egg quietly does all of it at once. Soft, gentle, and endlessly easy to prepare, it is one of the kindest foods there is for an older appetite, delivering a great deal of nourishment in a small, soft, familiar package. An egg is a complete protein, carrying every amino acid your muscles need, plus choline for the memory, vitamin D and B12 for energy and nerves, and the pigments lutein and zeaxanthin that gather in the eye to protect your sight. For most people, the long-standing worry about eggs and cholesterol has not held up in research, which now views an egg or two a day as part of a healthy diet. Boil, poach, or scramble them for a quick, soft, protein-rich meal at any time of day, and pair them with vegetables or whole-grain toast. They are among the cheapest sources of complete protein there is and keep for weeks. Last comes the food that, remarkably, never truly spoils. Number 20. Honey, the milk and honey. No food better symbolizes the promised land than honey, the very picture of a good and abundant life, the land flowing with milk and honey. Samson found it in a lion's carcass. John the Baptist survived on it in the wilderness, and Scripture praises it as both sweet to the soul and good for the body. If you reach for sugar to sweeten your day, raw honey is an ancient and far richer alternative, valued for soothing a sore throat and a troublesome cough, long before any cough syrup existed. It is still sweet, so it is used in moderation, but unlike plain white sugar, it carries real compounds that have earned genuine scientific interest. Raw, unprocessed honey contains antioxidants, enzymes, and antibacterial compounds, and research has studied it for soothing coughs and helping minor wounds heal, which is why it never truly spoils. Pots of it found in ancient Egyptian tombs were still edible after 3,000 years. One important caution: honey must never be given to babies under 1 year old. For everyone else, a small spoonful stirred into warm water with lemon is a soothing, time-honored remedy for a scratchy throat, and choosing raw, unfiltered honey over the clear, heat-treated kind keeps far more of those beneficial enzymes and antioxidants intact. Choose raw, local honey where you can, and use it in moderation to sweeten tea, yogurt, and porridge, or to soothe a scratchy throat. A jar lasts almost indefinitely in the cupboard, and with that, our 20 are complete, and what ties this ancient table together is the real lesson. 20 foods, and notice the pattern running quietly through every one of them. Bread and grains, fish, beans and lentils, nuts, fruit, vegetables, a little cultured yogurt and honey, almost nothing from a packet and nothing built in a factory. It is, in essence, the Mediterranean diet that modern science now ranks among the very healthiest ways to eat, written down thousands of years ago and simply waiting to be rediscovered on the pages most of us already own. So if all of this feels like a great deal at once, please do not try to change everything overnight. Pick just one to start with this week. A bowl of live yogurt with a few dates, a handful of almonds in the afternoon, or a tin of sardines twice this week. Choose the one that sounds most like a pleasure, because the small habit you actually keep is the only one that quietly changes how you feel over the months and years. And do remember, This is history and general information to help you eat well, not medical advice for your particular situation. If you take medication, live with a health condition, or have any concern at all, please talk it through with your doctor before making big changes, since even ordinary foods can sometimes interact. The goal here is simply to bring good, ancient, wholesome food back into your life, gently and for pleasure. If this was useful to you, subscribe to Healing Garden, where every week we explore the food and the old wisdom that help us live longer, stronger, and sharper, always with honest and careful eyes. And do tell me down in the comments, which of these 20 foods are you going to bring back to your table first? And which one genuinely surprised you the most? I read every single one, and I love hearing what you are trying in your own kitchen. Next time, we are turning to the quiet powerhouse that sits at the very center of your health, your gut, and the everyday foods that help heal and rebuild it, from soothing broths to humble ferments. Until then, eat in the old, wholesome way. Look after one another, and I will see you in the very next one.